Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to TraderMerlin Show. It is your Tuesday edition. Happy Tuesday, all. I see someone said they have issues getting to today's broadcast, huh? As in personal challenges getting here, or was it hard to find the broadcast today? Hopefully all was going well. I apologize if my voice sounds like it's going out. I was teaching a class from 7 o'clock this morning till 1:30, so it's been a long day. We were talking about cryptocurrencies in the big picture. I see Merlin doing a general session with Bitcoin and OTA tomorrow. Is that what I'm supposed to be doing tomorrow? Let's see. I don't know. Is that on my calendar? I wasn't sure whether I was supposed to be doing something tomorrow. I think, let's see, tomorrow, Wednesday, digital assets. So I'm supposed to do digital assets from 9 to 10 o'clock tomorrow. I think that might be it. Not sure if I have anything else cooking, but I guess I should probably check that out. Let me go and check out my schedule here just to be sure. Anyway, the topic du jour will be this one right here, the spot Bitcoin ETF. Not just the Bitcoin ETF, but the spot Bitcoin ETF. Some of you may be wondering what on earth has been going on. Why is crypto surging so much? We talked about that one yesterday. And all of a sudden today, even better, monster moves. And it all has to do with things that I have been talking about since March and April. Actually, I was talking about it last year, which was at some point in 2023, I thought we were going to get the spot Bitcoin ETF, and then that was really going to send Bitcoin up to the next level. We may see that happen here in just a few days. So I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about that, spend a little bit of time talking about crypto and digital assets, and then we'll transition over to what most of you are wanting to talk about, which is our current market outside of crypto, even though crypto is the big buzz. So what's all the hoopla? Well, as many of you know, we have quite a bit of competition in the space to become the first official spot Bitcoin ETF. And I saw some chatter last night. Someone I commented on, someone's like, what's the big deal? People are acting like there's no other spot ETF in the world. And the truth is, absolutely, there are other spot Bitcoin ETFs around the world. However, the US is the most powerful, most liquid market in the world, where countries from all over the world are drawn to the US equity markets. You know, some of you may own some stocks on the Nikkei, or some may own some on the Hang Seng, but most likely not. So it becomes the focal point. It's the fulcrum of the financial markets is the US markets. So if all of a sudden we have a spot Bitcoin ETF on our exchanges, it adds an air of credibility to the entire crypto space for the global community, because finally the last stalwart, if you will, the holdout is no, Bitcoin's not on sale right now. I mean, if you're looking 5 years out, Pepe, Bitcoin's on sale right now. It'll be on sale for the next decade as it gains more adoption. Anyway, it's that validation I think that crypto needs. And once you get that stamp of approval on the Bitcoin ETF, it starts to open the doorway and also regulatory guidelines for more of the crypto world. And I think that's the real exciting part for what's happening with crypto. So let me show you who's lining up to get a slice of this pie and why yesterday was such a monumental day. Okay, Bitcoin ETF, got the bull. Love my animated graphic, or my AI graphics there. Here's the list. I've been showing you this one for a while. I actually made it a point last week in the Monday Morning Must Knows to focus on last week's decisions, which were supposed to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 companies that were applying for a Bitcoin ETF were expected to get some word from the SEC. That's the Valkyrie Bitcoin Fund, the Wise Origin Bitcoin Trust, Invesco's Galaxy Bitcoin, Wisdom Tree Bitcoin Trust, VanEck Bitcoin Trust, and the Bitwise ETP, not to mention the iShares Bitcoin Trust, the granddaddy of them. Now, of course, these guys have been delayed and delayed and delayed and delayed, and nothing came up of it last week. However, the talk track by Gary Gensler has gotten a little more friendly, if you will, with regards to the spot Bitcoin ETFs. He says, I've got a bunch on our desk that we're looking at. At least that shows that we're looking at them. They've been out in contact with some of these firms to get more information on how the Bitcoin is going to be stored and some of the finer details about this. Now, of course, that is all fine and dandy, said and done, but it's about action. When is there really going to be a spot Bitcoin ETF? Well, one of the first things that you want to see is when a security or an ETF gets its QSIP. So what's a QSIP? Well, here is the filing or the actual QSIP number. And a QSIP number basically tells you that this product is now ready to be listed on an exchange. It's called the QSIP stands for Committee on Uniform Securities Identification Procedures. I know. We'll have a trivia question tonight on that one for anybody who goes to my trivia. Committee on Uniform Security Identification Procedures. That's the acronym there for QSIP. BlackRock officially has a QSIP for their Bitcoin iShares ETF. The symbol will be IBTC. Why is this so important? Because it's an actual QSIP. That means that there's an actual product that they are looking to launch here very soon. Now, that doesn't mean that they're going to launch it right now. They're seeding it. So what happens is they get the QSIP and then they have to fund it, which means they have to go out there and buy enough Bitcoin to get a basic few transactions that they can start to sell. Here's where things get interesting, and I want to look a little bit deeper into the mechanics of once they launch an ETF, how it works. But typically, what will happen is they buy an amount that goes into the ETF or ETP. It's an exchange-traded product, if you will. But they're going to be buying Bitcoin inside that product. How much do they have to buy to get it seeded, to get it started? I'm not sure. But they have to seed it just so it can now be tradable and be ready to list on an exchange. So BlackRock has already made a statement that they are seeding that ETF. They already have the QSIP, which all they need now is an OK, and they're literally in the starting gate with their nose smashed against the door, if this is a horse race analogy, where some of these other firms, which I just mentioned, the Valkyrie, the Global X, Wisdom Tree, Van Eck, Invesco, they don't have a QSIP yet. So this is BlackRock pulling dominance. It's pulling the alpha money manager, if you will, and basically saying, we're the lead dog right now. We are going to be the one that gets there first. And when that gate opens, we're taking off first. So this, to me, is what's fueled this gigantic rally. Here's our, when we did the show yesterday, we were on this green candle here, which looked great. Well, we're up another 7.5% today. Now, it's definitely given back some, but just look at the last week. If you go back 7 days, where it's a 31% move up in Bitcoin. Big Eb, congrats, buddy. I hope you're enjoying that. When they start seeding it gets real, exactly. And this is the point I have made over and over again, which is they have to buy Bitcoin somewhere. And those that understand Bitcoin know that this is the real problem. You can't just go out and say, all right, I'll just buy some Bitcoin. It's not like it's an open-ended market that they're not going to have an impact on. If they need to buy 100,000 Bitcoin, where are they going to get that? They're going to have to go to the open market, which would cause prices to absolutely skyrocket, which I think is what's been doing. I think they're actually out there buying Bitcoin on the spot, on the open market. But once the door opens, they no longer need a little bit. They're going to need gargantuan amounts, right? Because this will probably be one of the most popular ETFs on the market for a little while, pulling all the volume out of the futures ETFs and focusing on the spot ETF. If that happens and they need to buy 50 or 100,000 Bitcoin, there's only a couple options. Number one, as I mentioned yesterday, they go to the government, who apparently has 200,000 Bitcoin, and maybe negotiate some deal to buy that at a premium, because they're going to have to buy a big block. And I don't know if the government wants to do that. If I'm the government, I'm sitting back right now going, make that spot Bitcoin ETF legal. Go for it. Because it's going to shoot the price of our holdings up. If you have 200,000 Bitcoin right now and Bitcoin jumps 50%, I mean, massive gain for the government. And they didn't even have to do anything. So I don't know if the government necessarily wants to sell knowing that this is coming. Okay, where are they also going to get it? Well, some of the other big holders of crypto are going to be the miners, right? So why don't they go to Riot Blockchain and Marathon? Now, they may actually have some vested interest. I'm willing to bet you that BlackRock has money in Riot Blockchain and Marathon. I didn't pick up on this earlier, but it'd be a brilliant move to do so, because if they are in bed with Riot and Marathon, meaning they own some of it, they can go in there and say, listen, we're going to take your Bitcoin holdings right now. I assure you that Marathon and Riot do not want to sell their Bitcoin holdings, but maybe what they'll do is they will give their holdings over to BlackRock. BlackRock will hold custody of those. So Riot and Marathon will still have their Bitcoin. They'll just be locked up in that ETF while BlackRock maybe goes and tries to procure them from somewhere else. That's probably the most logical one, right? Yeah, right. And Jay, I don't have that much. I wish I did. I wish I had 100,000. Just 1,000 Bitcoin would make just a world of difference for life. So my guess is that's probably what's going to happen. They're probably going to these miners and they're going, look, we've bought into this. We've got voting rights. We're not going to buy it or take your crypto and sell it. We're just going to custody it. We're going to hold it here. Now, I don't know if that blurs lines with the SEC because technically BlackRock wouldn't own that Bitcoin. They're borrowing it. And I believe that the ETF would have to have ownership of those assets. So it's going to be very interesting over the next, I think by the end of the year. I don't think it'll happen next week, right? It could happen any day where they get the green light. And the way that things are moving, it feels like it's literally going to happen by the end of October. Although, I think we'll probably see it in November. Certainly by the end of the year. Merlin, Papa Jam Beto is one that, nah, not really, Oliver. I mean, I'm certainly going to be happy, but again, I'm not selling. I told you when I'm selling. I'm selling in November of 2025. That's when I will be selling. So this is all just a catalyst for acceptance. That's why I'm popping champagne bottles. And I hate champagne, by the way. I'll just have a nice shot of whiskey and I'll cheers everybody. When you're looking at what this means, it's not just, it's a spot Bitcoin ETF. It's legitimacy of cryptocurrency on the broader exchanges. And to me, that's a way bigger catalyst for market price and acceptance going forward. Because what should happen is once the Bitcoin one becomes legal, I guarantee you BlackRock is going to immediately turn to the regulators and say, what about Ethereum? We want to do an Ethereum one too. Can you make a decision? Is it a security or is it a commodity? Because we want to do that one right now. And there's big money in it for the markets. Customers want it. And BlackRock will use their pull to push that through. I mentioned this back in April on how I believe that BlackRock will get it. I think they'll be the first one. Although the safe bet by the SEC would be to approve 2 or 3, maybe 4 at the same time. Just so there's no preferential, look, you did this preferential treatment for BlackRock. Will BlackRock win? I think BlackRock will win this fight. I think they're the ones to do it. So we should buy up all the Bitcoin and then go place big orders for the BlackRock. Yep. If you got that kind of money, I love it because I really want to see how this plays out. If something as big as BlackRock is now, one of the biggest fund managers in the world, if they get in there and are forced to buy from the market, prices are going to go through the roof. I said back in April that this is what could cause Bitcoin to reach 45,000 by August. I said, if we get approval. Well, we didn't get approval in August, but maybe we get approval in November. And if that happens, Bitcoin will be $45,000. Mark my words. I'm very, very sure about that. Just because you look at the speculation of it all, and this is what's happened, right? For us to get to 45,000, let me just look at what that means price-wise, all right? So if we go from where we are right now to 45,000, you're looking at a 33% gain in the price of Bitcoin, which has already moved 33% in 7 days. There you go, Oliver. You just need one Bitcoin. I think that should be everyone's goal, is to just have one Bitcoin. If you have one Bitcoin, a whole coin, you will be part of a very, very distinct minority. Right? There will be very few people who are going to have one whole Bitcoin. And remember, there's only 21 million of them. So once demand increases, the odds of people having one are much, much slimmer. Will options be enabled for the ETF? At some point, probably, Sava. I think that there'll probably be a regulatory hold on that, meaning they're going to wait probably 6 months, not 6 months, probably 2 or 3 months, just to make sure it's okay, just to make sure there's no problems before they actually get the green light to do so. So that's a good one. I do think options will be there. So how much is one Bitcoin? Sorry for my ignorance. Right now, one Bitcoin is $33,845. It was $35,000 today. Exactly. Lisa's right on. I mean, look, if you want a proxy for Bitcoin, it's MicroStrategy. You're not hearing so much about it right now, but these guys have been, Michael Saylor, who owns MicroStrategy, has been buying Bitcoin for years now. And he's evangelical. He's going crazy on it. However, he probably is one of the largest single holders of Bitcoin in the world. And if Bitcoin does what I think it's going to do over the next couple of years, he might jump to one of the richest in the world. So right now, Pepe, here's your chart. 33,845 is the futures market. Spot market for Bitcoin has us at 33,647 as we speak right now. So crazy move up here. Be ready to take some leaps on MicroStrategy. Yeah, let's look at MicroStrategy. You know, and somebody else mentioned that maybe BlackRock would go to MicroStrategy to buy their Bitcoin. No way. Michael Saylor is not selling. He is not going to be selling this at all. Hey, Joachim, good to see you. There's no way Michael Saylor would be selling right now. No way. You know, MicroStrategy at one point was up over $1,300. If Bitcoin news does move like this, then he's gonna make a lot more than that. MicroStrategy leaps out to January 2025, or only approximately $6,800. More pocket chump change. Yeah, well, he's going to be a multi-billionaire at that point for sure. It probably, you know, question is, does he hold enough there that could make MicroStrategy trillionaires? Could be. You know, does it end be making their market cap that big? Let me see what the fundamentals are on MicroStrategy right now. Financials. Market capitalization. Oh, a weak ass 5.9 billion. Yeah, that's weak. That's very small. But if Bitcoin continues to surge, you could see those numbers spike significantly. So anyway, that's the exciting one. And what's my target on Bitcoin? Depends on when, Pepe. If you look at the video I did for barchart.com several months back, you know, I could say my number, but I really think it's important that you understand the logic why, and I won't go into that here on the show. But I did post the video on Barchart, it's on Barchart's YouTube channel. In November of 2025, the range based off of historical numbers is between 150 and 350. So I'm looking at the middle there saying 250, $250,000 a coin. We'll see if I'm right. I don't know. I think that just the basic tenements of finance and supply and demand dictate that Bitcoin's going to be moving up, particularly if we get a spot Bitcoin ETF, because that ushers in acceptance for Bitcoin. And once that happens, I really think that you'll see a bigger move up in the long term. Let me see if I can find it for you. Just so I should have like a page of links all ready to go, because a lot of people have asked about this one. Barchart it was fun. I actually really enjoyed doing stuff for Barchart. Let me see if I can get it without creating too much of a disturbance on the show today. If you go through here to Barchart's site, not only I'll show you where it's at, but I'm also going to bring up mine. But they've got a lot of great videos at barchart.com for you. I enjoyed doing this one. This is the five questions to ask before investing in cryptocurrencies. I enjoyed doing that one. I'm really surprised that the video I did on Bitcoin only has 600 views. Like, it really, I was kind of surprised at that. This to me is one of those, I don't know. I just think that there's so much more to it than that. So anyway, here is the link. I will post that into chat for everybody. Why did you pick a specific date to sell your Bitcoin? Watch that video I just posted, Ask Bonnie, Dr. Bonnie. Just watch that video. It spells it all out exactly why. It has to do with this 4-year cycle in cryptocurrencies, particularly with Bitcoin, that we've seen now happen 3 times in a row, like clockwork. And my biggest regret in the last 2 years is that I was actually building up a hypothesis on the 4-year cycle, and we got to November of 2021 when I was like, oh, I should just sell everything, and I didn't. And I'm like punching myself, like, well, you moron, shoulda, coulda, woulda. I think as traders, as humans, as investors, whatever, you have to learn from those mistakes and never make those ones again, particularly when they're that significant. I mean, Bitcoin was up at $69,000, fell all the way down to $15,000. And my 4-year cycle said, sell it at 60,000 and buy back in at 15. Right? I would have been a totally different ball game. I would have reached my goal of having over 10 Bitcoin at that point because of how I did. My friend instantly bought some Bitcoin after that video. Cool. Cool. Thank you. We'll comment on the video and it'll leave positive feedback. I'm really surprised that's a video that has that kind of content. And, you know, one thing I really hate about crypto, I hate it about crypto, is everyone's an expert. You go onto Twitter and there's all these people, oh, Ripple's going to run to $50. Shiba Inu's going to go to $5. You know, they're just saying a bunch of crap with no justification, with no validation or reasoning behind their calls. You know, I think I believe that most of you appreciate it when I say I'm buying into something or shorting something. I'll say, here's the reasons why. Here's the justification, right? The call I make in that video on Barchart, it's called The Future of Bitcoin. The call I made on that is based off of historical data. and I'm looking, I show you the price charts, and here's why I get there. I start blocking people that just continually post their predictions and hypothesis about something because it's like, oh yeah, this thing's gonna go to $1 million. Why? These people out there, especially with Ripple, like Ripple's gonna go to $100 a share, they say. $100 a share. Oh, okay, that makes it a $10 trillion market cap. Okay, explain to me how that's gonna happen. How is Ripple, which is used for payment networks, it has a purpose, how is that going to get to a $10 trillion market cap? You're telling me it's going to be triple the size of Apple just because you say it is? Like, come on. You've got to be putting facts behind your opinions on everything. Otherwise, you're just a talking moron. So, didn't know you did videos for bar chart. Yeah, I've done 2 videos for bar chart. I just try to, spread it around a little bit. They've been very nice. They're very supportive, and they like my content. So I've been writing articles for them every week. I write an article, and hopefully I'll do some more videos for them down the road. Did I sell my dot? Nope. My Polkadot is on my ledger, earning 14% annual yields on it. So it's been growing and growing. Where do you think the Pepe coin's going? I say 0. And 0 quickly. Yeah, I love that. Let's look at this one just because Pepe brought it up. Pepe brought up his own coin. He probably made this one. Pepe. This is a giant steaming pile of manipulated lies. There you go. That's what should happen. This thing went all the way up here. I can't even tell you how many zeros that is, but and now it'll disappear. This thing will go away the dodo. It will absolutely disappear. Just because I don't want to buy Bitcoin, I need to call my friend and ask her to help me out to do that. So Lisa, you're looking, if I wanted to buy Bitcoin, I buy a wallet and then I get it. I open it on an account with Coinbase. So let me just explain that one just for those who are interested in getting started. So maybe I should do a show just on step by step for those of you who might be new, because I think crypto might be intimidating to many. Step number 1 is you got to open an account somewhere where you can buy cryptocurrency. Right now, I would say you either going to do that at Kraken, Gemini, or Binance. Kraken, Gemini, or Coinbase. Don't do Binance because Binance doesn't have ACH. ACH is what allows you to connect your checking account to the crypto exchange. That's critical not only to get your money into crypto, but also get back out of crypto into your account. So, first thing you want to do is make sure whatever exchange you're using has ACH. The second thing, and actually I might want to make this an asterisk before everything, do not put your crypto in an exchange that's not a major one. I had 2 people today in my crypto session, my focus class today, that got scammed. They put their money in some offshore company that promised all these great trading platforms and amazing rates of return. Gone, vaporized, that money's disappeared forever. Stick with Coinbase, they're publicly traded. That's probably the easiest way. So let's just say Coinbase, right? The fees are a little higher, but it's not that much to deter you. Open a Coinbase account. Once you got your account open up ACH or connect ACH to your checking account. Once you're there, then you go to their advanced platform. For example, let me see if I can open up my Coinbase. I think I have just a couple $100 there. All right, let me go to Coinbase and I'll show you what that looks like. So this is their advanced platform. You're not going to see this normally. Typically, when most people go to Coinbase, they see this. This is the of mice and men page. Oh, Lenny, I think I'm going to buy some Bitcoin. That's what this page is designed to be. They want you to click these buttons. Notice that there's no limit price. I basically just have to buy it whatever price they give me. They're overcharging you. Never buy on their basic site. You're going to spend a lot more money. You go up here to your settings tab, click on advanced. And now once you're in advanced, now you can, wow, look at this. Is this Bitcoin? Yeah. Some huge buying just came in here on Bitcoin. Just stopped it from going any lower. That's probably BlackRock. Just gobbled up a couple hundred Bitcoin. Anyway, you'd want to buy it from here. Now, once you buy it, it will show up in your portfolio. If you have enough that would warrant going and maybe getting a ledger device or some hardware wallet, then you would configure that, set it up, and ultimately move your Bitcoin over to that wallet and then call it a day. So now for example, I have my, a bulk of my Bitcoin is on this device. I have several Bitcoin on what are called paper wallets, which look like this. And they're just different methods to keep it. But bottom line is, if you take it off the exchange, then Coinbase can't lend it to BlackRock. They can't lend it out to, you're removing it from supply. So the best thing you can all do is take your Bitcoin off of the exchange, or take crypto off the exchange, because now you're removing that from supply. Now, granted, you might have 0.1 Bitcoin. You're not going to really impact that much, but every 0.1 Bitcoin that gets taken off the exchanges is 0.1 Bitcoin less that these big funds can borrow from Coinbase. So that's how I would go about it, Lisa. I hope that helped out a little bit. Go to Coinbase, open up an account, connect ACH to your checking or savings account. What I would do personally, if I had to redo it all over again, I would actually create a different account at my bank that's just for crypto and not connected to anything else. That way there's no mingling. I have clear documentation of everything from that one account. Once you have ACH set up, you go to Coinbase's advanced platform, which I just showed you. You buy the crypto that you want. And then once you're ready to put it on a ledger or something else, then you would move that over to that device, removing it from the exchanges, which I think is key for everyone. All right. Let's see. Well, what else I got? Oh boy, I got a lot of comments. This is recorded, everyone. Yeah, it is recorded. Please do a show on staking cryptocurrency. Yeah, I told you, Betty, I don't really want to do that. I need some incentive for people to take the classes with Online Trading Academy, and that's definitely one of them. So we get to manipulate the price when we do that. You don't get to manipulate the price, but you are influencing, your actions are influencing price. Absolutely. You know, think about it. If there are 10 Michael Jordan rookie basketball cards for sale in one location, right? You go to a card shop and or you go to a card show, there's multiple vendors, and there's 10 Michael Jordan rookie cards. You got 10 of them. They'll be competing and saying, well, you know what? It should be $10,000, but for you, $9,900. And then the other guy's going to compete with you. But if all of a sudden those start to disappear, now we're down to 5, price is probably going to start to go up because there's fewer of them. And in this particular case, you have a situation where 9 different massive financial firms are trying to open a spot Bitcoin ETF, which means that each one of them is going to have to buy Bitcoin. That's the whole point of the spot ETF, is physical ownership. And if they can't get it, they're going to have to pay market prices, which means Bitcoin's going to go through the roof. Through the roof, meaning, you know, what do you get to 60,000 maybe? And then we're going to get to halving in April. And then the real run starts. So yeah, I think that this is great news for anybody who's long cryptocurrency and Bitcoin. No problem, Lisa. It should be noted that you start with a small transfer initially so you can get absolutely, Big Eb. Let's say you buy a full Bitcoin, and you want to move it over to your ledger from Coinbase, send over like $2 first, just to make sure you get it done right. Because if you send over the whole thing to the wrong address, your crypto's gone. All right, so the process would be send a little bit from your Coinbase account to wherever you want to keep it. In this case, talking about my Nano Ledger, do just, $5 worth, $6, whatever, small amount, just to make sure it's done. Once you receive it, then you repeat it with the whole Bitcoin. That happens with the $500, $1,000, $10,000 currency bills. Well, I believe there was 1,000. I'm not sure what the biggest one was. So we know supply and demand. Is it too late to buy with these moves up? Look, I think long term, no. I think obviously we've seen a huge run up, and I think it might be a little overextended because it's all on expectation this is going to happen. Again, nothing is set in stone. We have not seen any official news that this is going to go through. But just the fact that they've got this QSIP ready and they're seeding their ETF is huge news. I mean, that to me, there's only one step left. And that's approval. Once approval happens, this will be listed the next day. And it's really good. Do you use Coinbase Ones? Would you recommend? I don't. No, I don't. I do very minimal transactions on Coinbase. Basically, right now, my transactions are going to be minimal. I have a bulk of the money that I want to have in crypto is already in it. So I'm pretty comfortable with what I have in there now. I'm not feeling like I need to buy anymore. Unless it's something that I really either a new project I want to buy into or something I really want to add to. Like I added probably 6 months ago, I bought some Solana. I had a nice chunk there, but right now I'm pretty good. So no, I don't use Coinbase One. I don't need to pay the extra fees. Let's see. After Bitcoin, what crypto should we buy? I mean, there's no should. It's just you have to do the research and what you like. For me, I think you have to go with other layer 1 blockchains that are different, that are programmable. So when you look at the programmable smart contract space, you're talking the juggernauts Ethereum, but then you've got Cardano, Avalanche, Algorand, Solana, Sui, Aptos. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. There's dozens of them out there, and I don't know which one's going to be the top dog. Personally, I think it's Ethereum. I think Ethereum will probably be the top dog just because of how they're structured and how they're building and the size of their community, plus the overall, network effect. Right? They were the first to market. They got the biggest community. They got the biggest network. So I think Ethereum will probably be the best of the best on the road. Okay, we talked about OTA. Then I'll be in your next class. Thank you. Yep. What else we got here? Maybe I can invest in Bitcoin. Maybe pay for my daughter's wedding in October 2020. Hey, look. If you watch that video, look, I don't know the future. I absolutely don't. What I do know is I messed up at the .com bubble. I messed up by looking at the .com companies as just trading opportunities, not investment opportunities. This time, it's the exact opposite. I'm looking at the crypto as an investment opportunity, not a trading opportunity. I trade every now and again, but really I'm more of a buy and hold guy at this point, and I will keep that. But I also know that there's market timing to be done here. And if I see crypto surge, like historical models have shown, that literally from right around, we'll say, August to September of 2024 to 2025 in November is like a parabolic bull run. It's happened 3 times in a row over that 4 years, over that 4-year cycle. So if I'm a believer in everything works until it doesn't. I'm a believer in patterns. I'm a believer in recognition, which is why we talked about going short in September and October. Why? Because history says to. Who am I to reinvent the wheel if I can see that there's a historical pattern, capitalize on it? And I've never, ever seen a pattern more consistent than that 4-year cycle in Bitcoin. So, right now, all signs point to me not dropping 1 penny worth of crypto until November of 2025. Now, in November of 2025, I will probably start liquidating some of the cryptos that have rallied if it continues to rally, and then I'll have to make a decision. Do I want to unload at that point and then buy back in if it drops? What if it doesn't drop? Right? There's always that. But I will be going with the probability that it's going to sell off. Typically, in the first year of a 4-year cycle, Bitcoin falls between 70 and 85%. So I'm fine with that. I'll buy back cheaper. What's the deal with .old? Is there a new one? No. There's Kusama, which is their test network, and then Dot. I don't know if there's a new Dot. I haven't really looked. I haven't really seen much news from them anyway on their whole development. They've really been kind of weak. Will real estate ever be on the blockchain? Personally, peasants, I do think so. One of the projects we talked about today in the focus class was a project that focuses on real-world assets, which is real estate, right? And it's a tokenization of real-world assets. I think is interesting. Obviously, there's a ton of risk, but I think that from a speed of our society, meaning we're getting faster and faster and faster with just about everything we do, we have some realtors in this room, I'm sure. And if you have real estate and you go through traditional channels, it takes a while to get rid of your home, right? It could take months, depending on how slow the title company is, how slow the lenders are, and all that stuff. If I wanted to sell my house to Sava and it's a tokenized real-world asset, meaning my house is, when you have that token, you have ownership of it, I could sell it to him in 4 seconds. Done. You now own the home. What? Yeah, I do think we're going to get to that point down the road when it's on a blockchain. I also think that you're going to have people fighting it, kicking and screaming. I think that real estate, I think that title companies are going to be fighting it tooth and nail, because what it'll do is replace a lot of their jobs. The blockchain will have all the data needed. Right now, the title companies are the ones that keep all that information and make sure it's all safe. The blockchain can do just as good of a job. So it's a transition that will take some time, but a decade down the road, I think we'll start to see a lot of real estate on tokenized blockchains. Perfect time to hedge with Bitcoin ETF puts. I wouldn't be shorting that. I think there is a blockchain real estate. There's plenty. There's like 3 different ones, Fluey. One is called Proppy. The one that I've analyzed with our students was called Proppy. It was an interesting model. Does this grayscale Bitcoin ETF and ETH Trust act similar to a crypto ETF? No, they're very different because they're not ETFs, right? They're a trust. So it's the way that the transactions can happen in a trust are very different than an ETF. An ETF, the owner of that ETF can buy and sell crypto to accommodate for demand very quickly. Whereas there's specific time windows where in a trust, you have to wait for these time windows to open so you can buy and sell and adjust the portfolio. So as demand either increases or decreases, you can get serious imbalances with regards to GBTC's price relative to Bitcoin. Right now, it's trading at a pretty steep discount, although that discount has been closing. I haven't looked at it today. My guess is it actually closed significantly today. Oh, wow. Look at that. Look at that whipsaw. Woo! It's still trading at a $7,000 discount compared to the price of Bitcoin. And that's this horizontal black line. If it got to this black line, then GBTC would be right in line with the price of Bitcoin. But it's not there yet. Let's see, what else did I have here? Do you think that the fall in the economy will affect Bitcoin up or down? It's a good question. I personally think it will affect it in a positive way. So, when you have a recession or an economic collapse, I guess it really depends on how significant that collapse is going to be. If the equity markets start to fall apart, what you're going to get is an exacerbation of that sell-off because people like myself are going to be going short, or people like most Americans are going to start just selling their holdings because they're freaked out. Then what are they going to do with that money? They're going to go to the US dollar, which has been on a pretty good uptrend, and keep it in cash. They'll try to find some other asset class. And I think the element of scarcity plus demand for the spot Bitcoin ETF and global demand for Bitcoin, will drive the prices of that up. So I think it'll drive the price of Bitcoin, not exponentially, but I think it'll hold actually rather well if we start to go through a significant market correction here in the US. What else did I have? If the real estate ownership becomes digital, could you imagine if you got hacked and lost everything? Exactly. And again, that's going to be the big problem, right? How do you safeguard your assets? And I think that's going to be another area of concern down the road. Like, how do we safeguard our assets? What steps do I need to take to protect my hardware wallet like this? I mean, right now I've got a bunch of Bitcoin and Ethereum and several other cryptocurrencies on there. But what if it was my house? What if it was the title to my car and all that stuff? This is still an infancy type of industry. They will work those kinks out, I'm sure. But it's just the ease of having everything documented, ownership documented on a blockchain makes it much simpler. Bitcoin is kind of pegged to it is right now, kind of pegged to the NASDAQ. Alan says the current problem with real estate, people are selling other people's houses with fake titles. Blockchain needs to adverse the cure for this, and it would be, right? If you had the blockchain, you couldn't sell fake titles. God, really? People are selling fake houses? Ay. Goodness gracious. Taco Tuesday. Well, welcome, Les. People lose their titles right now. That's why a title lock came into play. Oh, yeah. Really? Yeah, squatters. You hear that crazy story about the Airbnb squatter that lived there for years and now wants millions of dollars? Nuts. Anyway, how much time I got left? All right, let me wrap this up. I have no guest for tomorrow. I'm going to try to bring him on next week. We're going to talk about bond vigilantes, which I think is an interesting topic. But hopefully today, the crypto scene did something good for many of your portfolios. I know it did for Big M, mine as well. I know some of you are also holding crypto. Those of you who are not in the space, you might want to wait. I don't think you want to chase after such a big run. But, at least I've been thinking for a long time that this was coming, that this was almost an inevitability that we're going to see a spot Bitcoin ETF. And people have been saying, no, it's not going to happen. I think there's way too much pressure for it not to happen, especially since Gary Gensler has said Bitcoin's a commodity. Then there should be zero issue in you issuing the approval for a spot Bitcoin ETF. So that's what the big news is. If you look at the longer term chart here, you've got this $40,000 level. I believe that if we get this approval for a spot Bitcoin ETF, we'll be at 40,000 in a day after the approval. Because now it's going to cause everybody to go try to buy Bitcoin because they know that 9 other firms are going to be trying to gobble up as much Bitcoin as they can get. So it will be very interesting. Is the market of NFT dead? No. There's definitely NFT. I think that the hype has just deflated significantly. And I knew that was coming. Come on. You're going to spend $1 million for a picture of an ape that somebody created literally in 3 seconds with a computer program and made 10,000 of them? Ridiculous. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't capitalize on it. But I also don't feel the need to steal from people. And in my mind, what those guys were doing with NFTs was theft. There's a lot of people left holding the bag right now going, oh, I wish my Bored Ape or my CryptoPunk gets back up to $5 million that I paid for it. Well, it ain't going to get back up there. But I think that there will be a big market for NFTs. NFTs is a fantastic technology, particularly for artists, musicians, that type of thing, a way to distribute royalties in perpetuity based off of for purchase. Pretty cool the way that can be structured. So yeah, I'm a big fan of NFTs, just not in the capacity that they were used. I think it was a stupid rally that happened in 2020 and 2021. It was pretty lame. Anyway, I'm sure Genzer will find a way to contradict himself based on historical evidence. Yeah, probably, Liz. Absolutely. And you will be a buyer of a Bitcoin ETF. I won't be, because I'm buying Bitcoin, right? But if I was someone new to the space and I wanted to support Bitcoin, yeah, I would buy the spot Bitcoin ETF. Now, hold your horses there, because what I do want to see is the paperwork behind the scenes. Let's say we get like 5 of them approved in the next few months. What I want to do is I want to look through and see how the custody is being done at each one. I want to see what the fee structure is with each one and kind of what are the details of it, because they're not all going to be identical. There's going to be different mechanics to each one, and I think before you buy into one, we'll do a show on it, right? I think you guys would probably want to see that. I'll do some research and we'll find out which one, is the best of the best. My guess is, just at first thought, it's going to be BlackRock. BlackRock's going to do whatever they can to push all that competition out and drive everybody into theirs. So look, they own most of the iShares. The iShares it's like their baby. So there you go. Do you think firms are starting to acquire Bitcoin before the spot ETF would be approved? I don't think so. I think we would have heard more about companies buying Bitcoin. So yeah, I don't know. I don't see that happening, although I wish it would. It's just a smart move. Maybe Elon Musk, he's got some Bitcoin. Maybe he sells his stuff to BlackRock, but I think he's the kind of guy who'd go, screw you, BlackRock. I'm not selling anything. Let's see. What else do we have? So what is the difference between buying Bitcoin ETF and buying BTC miners? The difference there is a Bitcoin ETF actually holds physical Bitcoin. So you're buying a portfolio, a basket of actual Bitcoin. With Bitcoin miners, what you're buying is a company that you now have to trust that company is being run well, that they're efficient, that they're turning a profit, that they're actually mining Bitcoin, that they don't overspend on their equipment, that they don't steal off the back end. You're buying a business of someone who's mining crypto, and you can look at their historical numbers and see how much money they're making. A lot of Bitcoin miners will actually sell their holdings to pay for operations. So they mine Bitcoin. In a perfect world, when markets are soaring, they make enough money where they keep all their Bitcoin. But a lot of them have to sell their Bitcoin to keep operations going. So miners are a different segment. I think they're going to be much more volatile. And personally, I'd rather buy a Bitcoin ETF than a miner if I'm looking to own Bitcoin. If I'm looking at the mining potential, sure, I'll go buy Riot or Marathon. But if I'm looking to be involved with Bitcoin and have some Bitcoin in my portfolio, without a doubt, I do the spot Bitcoin ETF. If BlackRock aren't the first to be approved, I expect their pride will be severely dented. Yeah, probably. But trust me, they got trillions of dollars. They're not going to worry about it. All right, that's it, guys. Time for me to make a run. So as I mentioned, Wednesday, I'm doing a show, and then I'm off Thursday, Friday. I got a ton of stuff going on, so I won't be able to do a show Thursday or Friday. Hopefully you're okay with that. I know I've been taking a ton of time off lately, but just got to do what I got to do. So if you guys have something you want me to discuss on tomorrow's show or make a show of something, let me know. Send it on in at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. It's sitting right there on the bottom of your screen. And for the podcasters out there, I know I don't give you guys enough love, but thanks to all that do listen to the podcast on iTunes and Spotify, wherever you decide to listen to the Trader Merlin show. Thank you for your support. But get in here to the live room, man. We have some good discussions going on today, and you might make some new friends along the way. That said, thank you. Oh, no. Hold up. Did I really just try to skedaddle without talking about this? Goodness gracious. How could I not? Okay. Well, we got to talk about this. Google down 4%, Microsoft up 4% in the after hours, both with blowout earnings. Look at Snapchat down here. Snapchat killed it on earnings. They were supposed to lose 4 cents. They came out at positive 2. You would think that is just, whoa, to the moon, Alice. No, down 0.5%. So the real big stories today, Google down 4% after hours. I'll look at that in just a second. Verizon was up 9% today. That was before market open, but it's Microsoft and Google that were the real exciting ones for today. Tomorrow, we do have another one. You've got some big names in here. You've got Boeing, you've got IBM, you have Align Technologies. I'll sort by market cap so we can bring up Meta Platforms. We'll also be reporting earnings tomorrow after market close. So that, my friends, does give you a popcorn trade of the day. I don't think I should sing along with that. That's probably not the best thing for me to do. But anyway, that'll be your popcorn trade of the day. And then when you look at the earnings or economic calendar for tomorrow, again, we do have some pretty big announcements for Wednesday. So scroll down here to Wednesday, and you can see for the U.S., you have new home sales. They're expecting that to actually increase. You also have crude oil inventories. The big news will be this guy here, Mr. Jerome Powell, will be speaking. That's going to be after markets close, I believe. Yes, after markets close. So that won't have too big of an impact for the regular market session, but maybe after hours. And then if you're trading the Canadian dollar, you do have a rate announcement. They're expected to stay at 5% for tomorrow. So that will do it. I don't understand the Google earnings. Who does? You know, let's go look at it right now. GOOG. And I'll put this on a 5-minute time frame. We'll look at that after hours. Woo, man. You know, you have great earnings, and all of a sudden it just fall apart from 140 down to 130. I don't know exactly why that was. We can, break that apart, but I don't have any more analysis on that one. And then this is the big impact, Microsoft. Right? So Microsoft, obviously being such a big component of the NASDAQ 100, is going to have a big impact there. You saw that nice big pop in the after hours. What's the NASDAQ doing? Oh, wow, surprising. It actually surged up and then is giving it all back. So shrugging off that announcement from Apple or from Microsoft right there. Interesting. Really, is that? Oh, okay. All right. Didn't think it would be that muted, but apparently NASDAQ maybe counterbalanced by Google. Remember, Google has 2 representations. So let me real quickly show you that one before I run out of here. Let's just go to NASDAQ 100 weightings. All right, so you go here, and then it's a site called Slick Charts. Remember, Google got split into 2 companies. Well, 2 shares. It didn't get split into 2 companies. It got split into GOOG and because of GOOGL, which are 2 separate shares. So you look at Microsoft is 9.96% of the NASDAQ 100, but when you add up Alphabet, which is Google, that's about 6.5%, 6.6% there. So Google pretty much offsetting Microsoft on their earnings going forward. Anyway, that was your news for today. So keep your eye out for tomorrow. Should be fun. Again, if you guys have topics, put them down below in any of the YouTube videos, or put them down below, or email me at tradermerlin@gmail.com. That said, go crypto, go Bitcoin, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.